everybody? Welcome, Big E. Love Guru in the house. What's up, everybody? I have got a special guest, Kaya Yesgarl, for the first time ever, an all BC Love Goddess, Love Guru show. Thirsty Thursday, folks, here, Big E TV. I am stoked. I thought I was a pretty wild guy, but then I've started having some of these love goddesses on Hollywood, Florida, and it's moved all the way to Toronto. Hey, there's Kaya. Okay, all right, we're gonna bring her on the camera. Oh, hey! All right. Wow. That's amazing.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
What have you done with your hair? Oh my goodness.
Today I was up late last night. Yeah, so it's a bit of my type. I don't care.
You look like a love goddess.
Well, love goddesses have different.
Okay, now your head is sideways there. Okay, there you go. Thirsty Thursday, September 20th, 2018. Now I want you to comment. We have a big breaking news story here. The question on everybody's minds is, are Ernie and Bert a gay couple?
I 100% think they are. Either way, I mean, I think it's just sharing love, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter like a boy or a girl. It's just, do you love each other? And they were like super close, as much as I remember in Sesame Street. So I'm not surprised.
Start with something really stupid, like who cares if they're Ernie and Bert are gays? How stupid is that, right? Like
to like go back and look at the shows then and kind of be like, what are they talking about?
Right now, the talk is all about Donald Trump's penis. Stormy Daniels came out saying that he disclosed that he has a penis that's small, not freakishly small, but it looks like a mushroom head from the Mario Kart video game.
Have experience with that specific mushroom in Mario Kart, but not with not surprised with Trump. I don't know. I'm pretty excited that a porn star is really kind of expressing her relationship and having a big part in kind of us all seeing who he is. If Trump could be taken down by a porn star, it would be amazing. Like, I mean, crazier things have happened. It's enough that we have pretty much everything out there, and there's, dick pics, tit pics. I mean, do we have to be talking about it as well? I don't know. Like, sharing each other, I don't know, details about what our penis looks like.
Sex sells, I guess they're just trying to sell some more books.
But like now forever, he's gonna like attach the idea of his penis to the toad from Mario Kart. Like, I don't know.
I know. Anis Anzario is quite a good comedian, and he asked all the women to put their hands up in the audience, anyone that's received a dick pic. And so this came as a shock to me that most of the women, there was thousands of people there, put their hands up, and I didn't even know what a dick pic was at that time, and I was shocked that this is like a thing that people do.
It's a serious problem. Like, it's shocking. It's like the thing that you open up your phone or you open up your social media, and all of a sudden you're looking at someone's penis, and it wasn't invited. Like, it can be pretty disturbing, and then you're sharing it with your friend. Trump's penis. I mean, like. Yeah. There's a lot of penises that are out there of photos. Interesting time. And I don't know.
So this happened to you? So this has happened to you then?
I have seen numerous dick pics, yeah. And not asking. That's the thing. Like, it's not, I don't know very many women, and I never asked, like, let me see it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, yeah.
Very strange, very strange.
At the same time, you gotta be really confident if you're taking pictures of your penis. But then I noticed too, people just don't have their face, right? Like, this thing. So you're just like, can always say that wasn't mine.
We got some comments up here. Brian Kane confirms that Ernie and Bert are a gay couple. It was brought up on the show, and they tell us they are. So there you go. All those people that want to know, and this is incredible. All these people we got on here. Okay, well, let's get into it. I guess you were a friend of Dale Kroom. He was on the show last night.
I do. Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's amazing, doing amazing things.
Yeah.
Excited for his energy to be shared more, and his music is incredible as well.
Okay, well, I got him to I got the bug in his ear about Nelson and about the Kootenays there, so we're gonna keep working that on all angles.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Kaya, tell us a little bit about yourself, young lady.
More of a big city girl most of my life. So I was the teens and the times of temptation and experimenting
Yeah.
through in Vancouver, a big city.
Okay.
Kelowna is a lot more chill for me than my life was in Vancouver. I was an actress there, and then I actually did though have a job, as we're going to be talking about sex today, watching porn for a living. For like a couple years, I
Oh
had
my
to edit.
goodness.
Yeah, I had to watch numerous videos and edit them,
Yeah.
talk about what was in them. So
Can you
I've
show
seen
me where
all.
that is? I can get paid to watch porno movies. That would
You
be
know, they don't do it anymore because porn. I was really at that place where porn was starting to be. There's so much amateur porn out there, and everyone,
okay.
like we said, there's pics out there. There's everyone's tits and ass are everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
people don't have to buy porn anymore.
I had Lisa Dwoskin from she's outside of Miami, Florida, Hollywood, Florida, on the show. We were talking about porno and if it had a place in the bedroom. Any comments about that?
Porn in the bedroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's really just about being honest about your fantasies with your partner. And it can add to the excitement just like a threesome. I mean, it's
Hmm.
like you have another partner in the room. Your thoughts, it helps imagination. I wouldn't recommend like a lot of men learning off of it because it's not too realistic a lot of times.
Right. Right.
But it's definitely, I think, a tool. And I think as long as, everything has to be healthy. Like how much porn are you watching? Or
Hmm.
can you have sex with your partner without watching porn? I mean, you definitely have to create balance. Like I know that when I was watching porn for a living for a while, it was too much. Like I got excited some days and I was
Yeah.
like, my partner comes home and I'm like, well, I've kind of had that. And it honestly wasn't good for the relationship after a while. Of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
because I was watching too much porn, and it can desensitize you a little bit too. And just I think for some people, for sure, it's the balance, like everything.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah.
much porn's not a good thing. But
Hmm.
I think women need to really understand that, like we all of us can be attracted to other people, and find other people appealing. You can
Hmm.
be in love with one person, but attracted to many.
I like it like with my teenage son with pot. It's like if you smoke pot all the time, it kind of takes away the life experiences because it's like everything you can fill in the blank saying, well, this is fun, but if I smoke pot, it would be even more fun, And so after a while, it kind of dilutes the rest of life. So I think porn is kind of like that. It's okay in its place, but if you start going too much, it gets a little bit. It kind of makes everything else kind of seem less than exciting, right?
Yeah, I mean, you want to be able to do those things without. You want to be able to go to those places spiritually or emotionally or physically without it as well. I
Hmm.
mean, you can definitely become where it's reliant on it, and things become an addiction. Porn and pot are two tempting things.
Now, what is your connection to marijuana? May I ask?
I've honestly been around it like my whole life.
Yeah.
My father always lived in the bush, and I was around it forever, people growing it. About 4 years ago, I got seriously involved in the cannabis industry after doing a lot of research and knowing how it was affecting my partner. Huge.
Now, was
So
this Sasha
yes,
Lefkovich? I was doing a little
yeah,
bit of I research all of my guests just to get a little bit of feedback, and I know that he unfortunately passed away. I think last year, of terminal brain cancer. Okay, and he was a former NHL tough guy. I looked at unbelievable how many different teams he played for.
I really watched his demise for 16 years, to be honest. Back when he was playing hockey, it was only smelling salts that they would get after you bash your head in.
Right.
And when he started taking cannabis, and a high CBD was what really made a difference for him because of anxiety.
Yeah.
Just the pain, it was so much mental pain from his head injuries. So yeah, developing a brain tumor. Yeah, we ended up opening up a dispensary in Kelowna.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, we opened a dispensary, and I fought the police. Talked to the police in the city. I was really trying to, help the community. It wasn't recreational, and it was for medicine.
Hmm.
And actually, went on TV a couple of times having to
Okay.
defend it. And then when he got his brain tumor, when it developed, yeah, it was not in the cards anymore. So
Mm.
my research on cannabis ended up turning into using it as a healing tool for myself. When it's messing with your brain, you become someone else. It's pretty can be pretty traumatizing watching someone you know turn into someone else. So cannabis saved my life. 100% hands down.
Wow. So you must be pretty excited about this. So what is it, October or something, where we're going to be legalizing that in Canada?
Well, it doesn't look very fair. I really think that it's the people's plant and everyone should be able to grow it themselves and share it with their friends and neighbors because it's medicine. Just like your tomatoes and fruit trees, like, you know, it's all plant medicines that do different things. And I trust my friends, you know,
Yeah.
more than what's out there nowadays, especially, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so no, there's a lot of there's still a really long way to go because the rules don't really make a lot of sense. I don't think at all. Was affected by the rules and laws that didn't make any sense, and now watching all these people that have lots of money just take it over, and the people that actually persecuted us, like ex-cops and like politicians and people like that that used to punish us and now they're making money off of it. It's a mess, to be honest. I think it belongs in farmers markets and you know, with medicine women and men, us understanding more and being honest more about our sexuality, which cannabis can help as well because it can connect you to your heart. That the two of them, my God, like the world's a crazy fucking place. Like sex and please, right? To deal.
Yeah. Moray Benoit, he completely agrees with you, and he thinks that this anti-marijuana thing is bullshit. Cannabis can make your sex life more enhanced or better.
Oh yeah, well, it enhances it's an amplifier. So it's really going to, you know, you get a good strain. And I honestly too, growing it, who grows it is so important because of the energy that it takes on. So I mean, you start with a good cannabis plant that's grown properly, you know, yeah, and you're with the right person, my gosh, like you can really with cannabis connect like body, mind, soul, and be so present in your intimacy with somebody, and it can definitely take you further and deeper. Yeah,
I would agree.
and just
Yeah,
yeah,
I would agree, and so does Moray. And it really depends on the person, though, because typically a lot of times you'll see in a partnership, one person's into it, another person isn't. Doesn't really work very well.
Well, that's why set and setting, right? Anytime you're ever doing any kind of substance, really, I mean, especially anything psychoactive, like you want to make sure you're in the right set and setting with people in the place you are.
Now you have got a few sayings here on your Facebook page, so I want to ask you about these. Don't blow it. Good planets are hard to find. I love that. Are you an environmentalist?
I am a lover of the earth.
Yeah.
And nature, and that's, yeah, I mean, I believe we all have a part in helping her heal and helping her be sustainable. We're abusing her and we're taking all of her resources, and we're not, I feel like there's a general rule of take only what you need.
Yeah.
And we're way beyond that. And it's giving and receiving. It's like we're just keep taking from her, we're not giving back. Connecting to nature, you know, plants and animals was huge for me and really helped me because it's just love when you're in nature. The energy is so pure, you know, when you're going through a tough time and you're around, you know, humans, there can be judgment and shame.
No,
and, you know,
no, not us humans.
Right? No, we're so, we're so pure. Well, that's the thing. Like plants and animals just love you unconditionally and they give off so much.
I agree.
So yeah.
Speaking of Dale Kroom, he is on the call here. Hey, Dale, what's up, buddy? Oh my goodness,
Dale!
He's down in California right now. He's going down to Peru. Oh. He just announced it.
I know. I just saw that. I'm so jealous.
Hey, Dale, what's up, buddy? New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. I love that. What does that mean to you?
My life, like 3 years ago, really, I thought I had everything, and life was amazing, and then everything just crashed. And it took me time to understand why, and now I get all the new beginnings that have to start for myself and why that all. So definitely chaos has to happen for rebirth, a death of something for the rebirth of something else. It's the cycle of life, right? The life, death, life. Yeah.
I like the way you talk. I like the way you think, Kaya. That makes a lot of sense to me. If you are more fortunate than others, build a longer table, not a taller fence. Oh my goodness. Is that an appropriate saying for today's day and age or what?
Yeah. like community, right? And like, what are all these walls? And like, I mean, yeah, even, I mean, going back to the cannabis, the fact that the States is like Canadians can't come across the border if they've had cannabis or are involved. It's like, what are all these walls? Why aren't we just all a community and sharing like information? Yeah, sharing and caring is just bizarre.
You look at in terms of the cannabis lens, I look at that in terms of the new Canadians and the new American lens and this whole immigration debate. And like, I feel like, you know, I almost feel like a moral obligation as a Caucasian, especially a male, and I'm a big guy, and all these things I have for me. I go out of my way for people of color and people that are less fortunate or people that are new to our land. A good example is Vancouver. There's lots and lots of new Asian Canadians coming in, and I can feel the tension. There's like, I don't want to say racism, but there's tension there. So I go out of my way to try to dissipate some of that, to try to make some of these guys feel, well, some of these folks from Beijing is if they dress up in all of these cool, crazy things that just, I don't know, it's kind of like, it's just different for our community. I think it's great.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, like, let's dress up like unicorns and like alien, like whoever and whatever we want to do, and just accept everybody, right? It's back to that shaming and judging thing that humans do that plants don't do. When Sasha passed away, I had a magical moment where our little girl, you know, was lying out in the grass, and she came over and put her hand on my heart, and she said, "Daddy has a message for you." And it was just, be real, you know, like, let's just be real. You know, I mean,
What does that mean though? Like that can be interpreted so many ways.
Well, be real as in just really be yourself. Like, just always be your authentic self.
Right.
Always. Right? And that means, you know, we're not all perfect, and we shouldn't pretend that we are, you know. Just if we're having a tough time or we do something wrong, you know, we learn from it by talking about it, not holding it inside or shaming other people.
When my son was in grade 3, my ex-wife and I, we split up, and so many people were around me saying, "Oh no, you can't do that. You got to stay together because of the family, and wait until he gets out of high school, and he's going to be all fucked up and all this stuff." And like, I was like, no, I tried. I knew that it wasn't going to work. It was evident. We went around and around and around in circles, and it was far better for him to have a life where he didn't have constant arguing and stress and, you know, that kind of thing that goes with people that are together, staying together for reasons that they shouldn't be staying together. And I am not kidding, Kaya, almost to a T, all of my friends that are still with their long-term partners today, I mean, I don't know how many of them are happy. I don't want to, you know, like,
no, totally. And that's where we're not being real. We're not being honest about, you know what, like, it's not about not loving the person. It's just that it changes, and you change, and your dreams change. You know, there were parts of my relationship that now I'm like, holy crap, you know, there were things I wasn't allowed to do, and parts of me I wasn't allowed to be anymore because I was in that relationship. And that's, you know, I don't think that's not the way it should be. You know, we should always be able to be ourselves and understand that I'm not trying to hurt you, but this is just how I feel. And you do your best. And if it's not, who says we're supposed to be with someone forever, like one person?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to segue from talking about family and raising kids to three ways and polygamy, but let me think how I can find a witty way to. You posted about monogamy last week, 2 weeks ago. In fact, that's kind of how this came to being. I was so impressed. You said something to the fact like, is a man meant to be with the same partner his whole life? And oh my goodness, there was lots and lots of great feedback from that. What is your thoughts on that?
You know, I experience-wise as well, like, the interesting thing is I've been in love with two people at one time. You know, I think many of us have. Being honest, like, do I want to share myself with someone? Am I attracted to someone else, but I also want to be with you? I could be in love with someone and then fall in love with another person too, and can we all somehow still be together?
And how did that work out for you?
No, it's definitely
it's not meant to last. It's not meant to last.
No, it doesn't. But you can have those moments where you're like, okay, there's someone else in my heart here, so what do I do? I mean, who am I going to honor? Am I going to honor myself, or am I going to honor the situation, right?
Yeah.
In the way, or another person's feelings. And that's, I think, the tricky part, right? Is it's like hurting someone else sometimes. We have to do that to save ourselves.
Is it possible to be in love with two people and then to be having a making love session with two people you love at the same time? That would
I
seem
feel
challenging.
like if it's two different, like if it's a bisexual experience, like where if I was with a man and a woman, I don't think that would be. I always felt like, oh, if I was with when I was with Sasha, like if I was attracted to another woman, does that count as cheating that I'm sleeping with a woman instead of a man? I mean, I
Define sleeping. I don't know. How do women?
having intercourse with if I wanted to have a sexual be sexually intimate with a woman instead of a man, did he consider that cheating because I wasn't with a man? I mean, it's really just having these
Mm,
conversations with your partner. I just think we make things so complicated when we
mhm.
don't tell the church kind of that whole idea of like getting married to one person and you always have to honor that person forever. What's this forever
Right.
thing, you know? Like a number on how many years I'm supposed to be with somebody. I don't think that's realistic. Like living in the present, this is how I feel now, you know, and I'm going to try my best, but shit happens. We're all on a journey learning things from different people. And maybe I know that I learned as much as I could from Sasha and I thought he was my life partner. I was with him for 16 years. And now I'm like, holy, I wasn't meant to be with him forever.
Right.
But at that time I was.
But let's talk about that for a second, because you shared with me last time that you guys never got married, and that would seem to be, but you also had children. So that kind of goes against the sort of bucks the trend in society today, doesn't it?
Oh, he tried asking me. I was like, don't ask me to get married. Like,
Why? Please, I'm
I
curious.
stems too back to like your childhood and what you were raised around. I had a lot of people around me that never got married and had great relationships and had children. My father's a pagan and like doesn't really, I don't know, he's pretty like a wild man. And my mother didn't marry until she had to move to the Middle East. So I never grew up with that. And then on top of it, I just didn't make sense to me. It seemed like ownership kind of thing. And I knew actually with Sasha that you know, I mean, some traditions, I felt like more it would have been an ownership. And I don't, and then also, how is it more complicated to get out of a marriage than in a marriage? Like, that seemed messed up to me. I'd seen too many women being like, how do I get out of this? This is a nightmare. And I'm like, holy shit, like, I could just pack up and go, hey, it doesn't work. Get in my own place. Bye.
In some cultures like the Philippines, because they're kind of a Christian culture, I'm not kidding. Women literally have to hire a hitman to kill the guy in order to get removed from the. I mean, how crazy is
Oh,
that?
and this does. I mean, I really believe this comes back down to the church, and we can go back to just how women have been treated as objects, right? It was like owning a woman, and I
Right.
think a lot of marriage still has, especially in some cultures and traditions, like that idea that I own this woman.
Monet thinks that openness is the key above all. So he agrees with you. And he thinks the problem with monogamy, especially it involves marriage when you get divorced, is it's seen as a failure. Well, I guess that's if
Mm.
you give a shit about what other people think about you. And in Canada, the women have the courts on their side, says George. So, yeah, there is that thing that often the kids still go to the woman, even if the guy has demonstrated, that to be like the Mr. Mom of the
Oh,
family. But,
yeah, like the court system. I had to be in the court system recently, and it's, all these rules that don't, it's like they put everybody in a box all the time. It's like we all have come from different families, different ideas, different experiences, but then we're supposed to be grouped in this one, like, well, you're a mom, so you get the child, like you're the woman. It's horrible. I mean, it's so many systems we can see are run like that, where we're just made to be like, you're just one person, a human, and this is the way we deal with it. It's like, no, can you talk to me personally?
yeah,
Can you
yeah.
talk to me like an individual?
For me, I see more of the psychological impact of marriage, and I see that I don't know. It's almost like people like give up. Like it's like their goal was to get married so they could check that box, and then they can move on with something else interesting in their life that was they could acquire or they could achieve. But it just seems like because I come from the health and wellness industry, and so I see a lot of young people. They're working really hard on their bodies. They want to look good. They want to look sexy. But then once they get married, and they just, especially I see the guys, they let themselves go because it's like, okay, I got my girl now. I don't have to worry about it anymore. But I just think that that's sort of the beginning of the end now when you start to feel like taking the person for granted. Whereas, I don't know, I don't want to say keep you on your toes, but I think if you never get married, there's always that spice there of being a girlfriend or a boyfriend. And I don't know, sometimes husband and wife seems kind of
Yeah. I think that's like it's in a label too, and it's like an idea that we are attached to when we hear the word married, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and the idea too that like weddings are for women, not for men. You know, it's all about them and their day.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, I've never been one. I love going to weddings. Like I love going to weddings
Do
because
you?
they're
What do you
it's
love about
all
them?
and you get to buy a new dress and everyone's there to have a good time, right?
Yeah.
Um, I've never wanted my own ever.
Interesting.
No.
Interesting. Yeah, I was just in Victoria at a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and I had just finished doing a big thing on Facebook about how so many people were down on marriage, and it was a lot around consumerism. That the whole wedding thing is just a big consumerism kind of thing, like your rock's got to be 3 months' salary, and this and that, and then and at the end of the day, I was really down on weddings and marriage, and then I went to this Scott and Shirley's wedding over in Victoria, and oh my goodness, it was so beautiful. They are definitely getting married for the right reasons, and so yeah, I don't judge. And for me, I loved the fact and so I kind of really opened my mind up again whether marriage is the right thing. I guess, like you say, it's on a case by case, individual basis. If that's okay to say. I think you're a very attractive woman. So, what
Even
advice?
like this today?
Well, you know what they say. If you can see a woman not at her best, geez, I would hate to see you all dressed up. So, I mean, I would love to see you all dressed up. Sorry. So my question is, what advice could you give to men, if they're coming across a beautiful woman? Can you give and also, can single women and single men be just friends?
Okay, that single men and single women be just friends. That's in my experience, it just doesn't really
It's
happen.
hard, right? Yeah.
It can happen, but you definitely go through that time of like someone's trying to get in there, and I mean, if you're hanging out with somebody, that's the thing. If you enjoy someone's company and you're attracted to them or they're attractive, why wouldn't you think about it, right? Why
Right.
wouldn't you? Or just, I think it's that saying too, like it's, always try, right? It's worth a
Yeah.
try. Um, so I think it's just that being able to get over that if you try to grow a friendship and the person says, no, I'm not interested in like me being intimate with you, and you still become friends, like can stay friends. I think that's the big test.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. It's not easy, but I think it can be done. And I've been fortunate because I have some amazing women friends in my life, and they've all often asked me that question, like, how come you never made a pass at me or hit on me? And it was because I valued their friendship so much. Because in past I've had a friend, we sleep together, and then all of a sudden it just everything changes, and like it just
Yeah.
and I lost that friend forever, and I didn't want to do that with my good friends, and so
Yeah.
that's the risk you run by going there. Right.
Totally. That's where I think there's like a test sometimes with just being intimate with someone where you just go, okay, is this lust or is this love? Like, why do I want to cross that line with this person, right? Like,
Yeah.
we can be attracted to so many people, and you can have those moments where like, oh, you're having a great night, and oh, my friend looks so amazing today. And it's like, you get a little drunk or a little,
Yeah.
you get feeling good, and you're like, all of a sudden you're in bed with them, and it's like, I don't know. It's, lust is there for so many of us, but does it mean that we're supposed to use that energy and actually be intimate with someone, or maybe use that sexual energy and transfer it into something else?
And what's wrong with
Um,
just having a good night, having fun, having a lovely, passionate night? Next day, like saying, like, look, we both know that we don't have a long-term future together. Can we not just enjoy and appreciate that for what it was? But it never seems to kind of end that way. It always seems to end
yeah,
badly.
I think it always just kind of can get kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but at the same time, I know a lot of people that, have slept together and remained friends. So I mean, I think it's really how we all deal with every situation, every person in our life. Um, and then who we're supposed to have in our life and for how long.
Uh-huh.
You know, sometimes we have one night stands and that's like you never see that person again. And and it's yeah, for a long time.
Deanna
Well,
Bell has an interesting comment. She's a Kootenai gal, and she says she's learned it's called gas lightning when the other person makes it sound like you're the crazy one and they're the ones lying and doing all the
yeah.
negative stuff. Sound
Gaslighting.
familiar?
Yeah, that's a term that a lot of people are becoming aware of, which is good because we can call people out on it now. Because for sure, I mean, and I think it's that back to that whole how difficult it is for so many people to say that they're wrong. or just
Yeah.
say, I'm sorry.
Oh, no kidding. I know. It's like people have these friggin' not glass houses. They got friggin' force fields around them now, you know?
Totally. And then that's the shaming thing, and right? And it's like the idea that we're all perfect and like nobody makes what is this?
Can be around beautiful women and I'm completely the same person as if I'm with someone that's just a regular person, or someone like anybody. So but for a lot of guys, they act really weird around really beautiful women. And so I just thought my show, it's a very pragmatic show. Sometimes I just like to say, do you have any advice that you could give these guys to not act like a knob, and if they come across a beautiful woman, that how they could like treat you?
Yeah, I think that's just learning as well, right? I think that you always be present, like where you're at, and if you say something messed up, like I mean, I I have clear moments where I've said things to people where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. But it's just going back and learning from that and being like, that didn't work, right?
Right.
Like, that worked. Maybe I shouldn't say that. And it is really just our learning. So always, if you always come from kindness and honesty, and just who you are, like some people approach people with a joke. Some people,
Right.
oh, Sasha was just like, some people are just really, really like outwardly aggressive or just kind of bizarre, and that works, right? We're all different. Like what works for you?
Any advice what not to do?
Oh, I hate it when people like turn around and then call you a name, or if someone goes up, oh, the hooting and hollering, disrespecting right away, or saying something that's like really sexual right away. I think that's like a total turn off.
Like if you got a nice rack, honey, like kind of that kind of.
Yeah. Does that work? And like construction guys that go around and hoot and holler, like I'd be curious how many times they actually pick up a girl when they're hooting and hollering and like, hey, sexy, and like, look at your legs and stuff. It's like, does any girl turn around and go, oh yeah, like thanks,
Yeah.
like want to go out?
Yeah.
No, it's being respectful. And then it's really just, I think, the chemistry and just that moment. I mean, and like learning, yeah. Like,
Right.
of course,
Right.
some people say stupid shit, and then you're like, whoa, yeah, but that's a good story. And
I see a lot of guys, they just act really like, I don't know, like losers. And I'm like, come on, man, if you ever want to like be successful with women, you're gonna have to, do something better than that. So
well, it's confidence in yourself, right? You have to be really confident in yourself to approach somebody. Just
mhm.
like, hey, I think you're interesting, or I'd like to take you out. I mean, it does take a lot of confidence, and I think that that's just also the journey is owning who you are and what you want.
Yeah, yeah. Is that attractive to you? Confidence in a man?
Oh, I think, of course,
Yeah.
everything. But I mean, as well, the sad man in the corner also gets me too, I'd be like, what's wrong, right? You need some love. So I think it's the chemistry too. I think we forget about chemistry nowadays. We're so fixated on what we look like, which is why honestly I'm practicing, not doing myself up
Yeah.
and just being real.
Yeah, sure.
Because we get so fixated on what we look like and what someone does that we don't actually like kind of just feel our way through and go, what does that person make me feel like?
Yeah, yeah.
What's their soul, right? Yeah.
So you got no makeup on right now. Wow, me either. That's two of us.
Well, honestly, like I was like, this is not me. I'm trying to do things that I don't normally do,
Yeah.
Get out of your comfort zone a little bit and own
Exactly.
yourself and just
Exactly.
feel, this is what I look like when I wake up and I had sex the night before.
Oh
Right?
my goodness.
This is what
Our
it looks like.
viewership is spiking here. What's going on?
We all have to have a good time. We all have to have fun. We have to make sure we have enough joy,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like I said before, I mean, sex and cannabis and just good company and good food and good smells and
Oh
it's
my goodness.
make sure that we do that.
Man, I want to move to Kelowna. That sounds like a happening place over there.
Oh, it's happening. Come on, it's happening everywhere.
Deanna, yeah, now I'm single and I have a single guy friends. No strings attached! Exclamation mark. And of course, we got to get Dale in here. He says, keep speaking your truth, Kaya. If it's coming from a loving place and it's violating no one or nothing else, then it can never be considered wrong. George thinks that you are a naturally beautiful woman, Kaya.
Oh, thank you. Self-love, right? Love yourself in every way.
I got a voice. I got something to say, and I can always put a wig on, or I can put some makeup on if I need to. But it starts from the beauty starts from inside, I guess. Is
all about the energy and the vibe, right?
Moray says, I would rather listen to you guys than work cleaning my car. Love Goddess is the perfect name. Okay, well, I'll tap myself. I gave you that name. So you've heard of the expression about like if the guy is reading the signals right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay, so this is kind of a metaphorical signals. Okay, you're the third base coach. The guy's really into you. He's at second base, and then the guy hits the single, and he's not sure if he can come all around to score or if he just to stop at third. It's up to you to let him know. Hold on, stop at third, or you wave him in like coming in and
for
score.
Sure. For sure. I mean, we're animals and like signals, right? There's signals and there's definitely like a vibe that, would be there. I mean, like really, like, are you tingling down there? Is your heart racing?
I'm glad it's raining out here. It's cooling me off a bit. Ooh.
No, you really just go with your gut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how much are you attracted to this person? Then do you really want have this person in your life, then you're going to try to have that person in your life, or the person that's going to say, yes, you can take me all the way home.
Okay, very good. Okay, you're not a sports person. You were freaking married to an NHL guy.
Oh, no. I didn't even know the theme song of Hockey Night in Canada. I'm not. No, I know. He was, but then he knew that I never cared about that, right? I wasn't with him because one was a hockey.
You probably appreciated that. Love that about you.
I was a horseback rider and a dancer, so
I saw that equestrian pictures, beautiful black and white pictures you had up there. I don't know what it is about women and horses. There seems to be something there, not sexual, but just something. There seems to be a connection that men don't seem to have with horses in the same way.
I think that can actually be traced down to a bit of it's the power, right? There's such a tradition of, I hated the word breaking horses, right? When you to ride a horse, you have to break its spirit. That's kind of what would happen to women, right? With marriage and with some relationships, it would be broken down so that someone could ride them. Oh my God.
It can happen to men too, sweetie. It can happen to men.
No,
too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It can. And I just know I used horses as therapy, and so did my daughter. Well,
okay.
Horses are therapy a lot. They're such beautiful animals, and you go around a horse and everything disappears, all your problems, and it's the connection. I think we used to always laugh too about at the barn. We used to always say that horses and men weren't very different because they would actually test you to see how much they'd get away with. Like horses, right? Yeah. They're always, is this person going to let me eat some more grass? Is this person going to let me, take off on them?
Yeah.
That's what horses do, and that's what men do too.
I've had 3 friends that were they were married to a guy or a girl, and when they broke up, in each of the 3 cases, getting into a same-sex relationship, and one of my female friends, same thing. She was married. So in all 3 cases, man and a woman, and they break up. But in each of those cases, the woman ends up with the woman, but I never see the guy ending up with the guy. So what's going on there? Like, why is it that guys don't seem to like have a change of heart, but women seem to?
A lot of it comes down to men being honest with their emotions. I think women are just more sensitive just because we've always been allowed to be more sensitive. Men in our society have been raised so much to not feel or not cry and not get hurt. So I definitely think that they act differently when a relationship is over. I think we need to really allow men to be emotional and to share their feelings too, because we are all humans, and some of I believe in reincarnation, that many of our souls have been here before, and we've been here as men or women, and we all carry the masculine and the feminine in us. It's the out of balance that there is, right? Men get hurt just like women do, but they're not allowed to talk about it because in our society it looks down like you're weak.
Got a hockey guy in here, Peter Twist. He's giving you the thumbs up, guy. I'm not sure. He's a very one-dimensional guy. He's pretty much all hockey. He doesn't know too much about anything else. But I got a feeling he might be coming on here with a comment or two. Which you said earlier, like, can we just lose the judgment card, and can we just focus on ourselves, look within, and let other people worry about their lives? I mean, life is tough enough on our own. We don't need to start taking other people's problems. Like, who cares if you want a gay wedding cake or something? Freaking make the cake and sell it to them,
Right? Totally. But I mean, it's just about we want to all be happy and we all want love. And who are we to judge anyone else with what makes them happy or who they love? Like, I don't, it's bizarre. Like, where do we have this extra time too, where we're worried about, like you said, like worried about other people's cakes and like who they're
Right.
dating?
It kind of blew me away, Kaya, when we were having this conversation about that thing about shit can men be with, when you sent that thing out there and it kind of blew up on Facebook. And I couldn't help but hear that you shared something there about that you were okay with like menage a trois and that kind of thing. Peter says zero
Yeah.
judgment, care unconditionally, go with the flow.
Yeah, no, I think love is just love. And I also believe, though, that when you're with someone for a really long time and you just we all have fantasies too sometimes. Or I've fallen in love with some of my girlfriends when I'm, been with someone else and
Wow.
want to, like, all of us, why can't we all be together? And I find that a lot of men are kind of into that. They'll be open to it. Like, they'd be open to it. Hey, like, you want to, but and if it's friends, like it wasn't just like going out and being like, oh my God, that girl's hot, I want her.
Yeah.
No, it's that love. Like, it's like I love a couple people right now and I want to be intimate with this other person. Are you okay with that? If you're not okay with it, we won't do it.
Right.
But it's just sharing more love. Like, why can't we? Some people have more love to share and want to share more love and make people feel good.
I'm just wondering if you had any advice for anybody, because it sounds like you've thought about this. You've got some experience to share. I think there are people out there that sometimes they kind of struggle with their sexuality. Is there any advice you'd have for people like that?
Well, I think we all struggle with it for a while. Like, even, straight fantasies or yeah, who we're attracted to. But I did honestly, I read Jenna Jameson's How to Love Like a Porn Star book, and it was like when I was a teenager, or in my 20s, I don't remember when, but it made sense, the rules, and I posted those rules on my Facebook just a little while ago too, because someone was asking me the ways that can ease a threesome through, of just having some boundaries that are in place that I guess are tried and trusted from a porn star. I feel this too. I mean, obviously it's got to be mutual, but the woman chooses the woman, because I feel that you don't want to bring a lot of insecurities to it, and I think it's generally easier for a guy to have sex with just an attractive woman. It doesn't have to be much more, but a woman to make love with another woman, I mean, for a woman to eat pussy, I mean, like, you have to love that woman. I will just say, like, you do.
What?
You do. And so the woman picks the woman, or the other partner, or man too. Like, my God, like, I think it's just also, I very much believe in like the feminine goddess. Like, this is, create a creative
Oh my
source.
goodness. You are a true love goddess.
And it's like, where, who's going in there, what's going on, like, that's really important. And then kissing, like, I think that's, for a lot of people, that's really intimate. For some people it's more intimate than even having sex, like the way you connect with someone through, which is your second vagina, by the way, your lips.
Really?
So
Oh my! I got my notepad out here, and you're
I feel like it definitely makes sense that, like, the lips are like a second vagina. So if you think about it like that as well, it's like, okay, I'm gonna honor that, and just, I don't have to kiss the other person unless my partner's okay with it, right? I mean, that's where you talk about it. But I think you can keep that kind of one thing as something that's pure of for you and your partner. That's one thing that you don't share. And I think that makes it more, for the woman, I personally feel that way, that I don't feel as threatened too, where,
Yeah.
he loves only my lips,
Okay.
and that mutual. And then the other thing, finishing off, whether you were using a condom or not, nobody wants to be like, oh my God, that threesome we had like 3 months ago, she's pregnant. Like, nobody wants that. And I used to always tell people too that threesomes were always out of town. You don't want to have those moments where you have a fight or an argument with your partner, and then you're like, oh my God, maybe they're calling that girl we were with 2 months ago, and then she lives down the street. I mean, we definitely, and that's what I think threesomes are good for too, is bringing up those insecurities that you have and trust issues. Do you trust your partner? Are you insecure with anything with yourself? Do you understand that your partner is attracted to other people, and that that's a fact reality? and testing out boundaries. And I think you can learn a lot from that, from threesomes, for sure. Can you sleep with one person for like 15, 16 years and be really 100% satisfied all the time? I don't know.
No.
I don't think so. We did have threesomes. So I don't know. I don't.
But if I read your comments correctly, they were always with another woman. When you're thinking of a threesome, you're thinking of a menage a trois with two girls and a guy.
No, I mean, no. We'll say that I've definitely
Cross the board.
experimented
Yeah.
with both, but I prefer. I'm more attracted to, actually, to be honest, I'm more attracted to women than men. I don't find, but I wouldn't say that I would be in one committed relationship with a woman and not a man. Like, I definitely love having a man around, but I'm just more inclined to bring in a woman because I'm more attracted to more women than men.
Interesting, interesting. So Michelle Drake, Love Goddess from Toronto, on the call. We got some. One of the things I love talking about women in Kaya is that we are very different in terms of how we look at things. Okay, so for me, like I've been approached about swinging sometimes, but swinging hasn't been
Yes.
too appealing to me. It's been appealing to me on the female side, but I'm always worried that the lights are going to go out. Next thing you know, like something is stuck in my palm. I'm like, no, I didn't sign up for this. That was always
Yeah.
my concern, because for women, it's a gray area. How you make love can be many, many different things. But for guys, it's kind of black and white. Either you're really into that or you're not. And so I think
Yeah.
that's where I'm probably, there's more women that kind of can experiment, because like you say, they got the two mouths, the two holes. The guys,
We got more. We just do. Yeah.
this guy Peter Twist, he's a arguably, now that he's signed this big deal in China, he's now arguably the top most influential trainer in the world, and he has a very lovely way of putting this. People are insecure; they have to own their partner's genitals. However, should we not want to give them happiness and facilitate happy, pleasurable experiences for them, because we want them to grow and feel good, share more love? I think it's a cool way to look at things. Like, is that what it's really all about? You have to own your partner's genitals to feel like that's the definition of commitment,
Yeah, no, once again, the ownership, right? Like marriage, the ownership, and then it's, oh, where's your penis been? Are you sharing your penis, or like who's been in there? You know, yeah, we do. I think, and it's insecurity, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I think if we just go, look, I am in love with my partner, and like fully, and I honor them, and I'm honest with them about who and what I want all the time, then it's not about, like, let's just be free to love, honestly.
Well, I've got some of my friends on here that have been with their partners a long time, and I think you're giving them some really good ideas, Kaya, how they can maybe spice up their sex life a little bit.
Well, we all have fantasies. And are you with someone that you can express your fantasies with? You know, I think that's important, because you're not really living your truth if you're constantly wanting something that you can't get. And what, you can't get it because your partner is stopping you from that? If
Yeah.
that's something that you really want, nobody should stand in your way. And it doesn't come down to like, oh, like they don't love me anymore, or it's like, no, they're just loving themselves and being like, this is what I want for myself. If you don't like that, then that's not my problem, right? But I'm going to eat you into this and be like, I'm not trying to hurt you, I'm just trying to live my life.
What have you learned about men? You sound like you've had a really good, like you've really been exploring, you've been pushing the boundaries. Are there any generalizations that you could say?
No, I mean, I don't like to generalize, but I think that what I've learned how much love men actually really need, how much unconditional love they need. Treating them not as equals. We need to help the men come more into their feminine side. Yeah.
I don't know that we need to make women more masculine. I think that sometimes that's the problem. That's one of the reasons I think I've been attracted to Asian women. More of a sense of femininity sometimes, and sometimes I find the North American women, they've been trying for generations and decades to so much be like a guy. They want to have this, they want to have that. That sometimes I think they lose some of the, I'm not talking about you personally, I think, but I'm just saying that there's some women out here that I'm not sure that I think they can probably learn a little bit about getting back to, being a woman again too.
Well, no, yeah, I think like men, I think it comes down to too, where like women are always going to look for that strong man that protects them and looks after them like a father, right? And men, and that's the masculine, and that they look for in their life, and men are going to look for a feminine nurturer like a mother. You know, we're all like still like we're still children inside that
Hmm.
want these things, you know, safety and love. So
A little
yeah,
bit
I
of
mean,
Sigmund Freud you're throwing at us
it's
here.
it's the balance again, right?
Yeah.
Like, and knowing, you know, I think it's just because we've gone so far in the parent, like on both levels
Hmm.
before, you know, where women have felt like they haven't been treated like equal. We do housework, we do all this stuff, and we look after you guys, but you know, we're not as important. I think we're in this paradigm now where we're trying to figure out where that balance is. Like, how do women stay in their as well, how do we all keep our masculine and feminine in balance? That's
Yeah.
where we're at.
Yeah. And by saying that, I'm not suggesting that like women only should be doing the ones that do the housework. That's not to me femininity. I mean, guys and gals should be able to share all aspects of raising kids and the work around the home and bringing the money in. And if sometimes the guy brings more money and other times the woman brings more money, and it shouldn't have an effect on how masculine or feminine you are.
No, and then just come back down again to just being like, be honest about who you are. Like, I have never wanted to be a housewife. Like, I love working. I was always like, dude, Sasha, if the guy wants to stay home and look after the kids, like, that's amazing for me, you know? And that's where you just honesty. Who are you as a person? Like,
Hmm.
what do you want to makes you happy? Let's do that. That's love.
I
Making
love it.
someone else,
I love it. Wow.
right?
You've got such a beautiful way to say. I'm gonna have to have you on here again, Kai, if you like to be on here.
I'll dress
Where do you think relationships break down?
their communication and
Communication.
like
Yeah. Yeah, I
it's just
agree.
I think everything's so much more simple than we make it seem. As when your truth, faith, and compassion, you know, like if you just use those rules of life and treat others as you want to be treated, you know, like we can
Great.
all have a beautiful life. I really believe in the whole like let's just spread joy
Yeah.
and like if people want like to just like reach out to somebody and give them a hug and like just or sit down and like share stories with people. You know, I think everything's also just a test of like boundaries, but I'm always open. I always every day actually pray and go, universe, bring me who and what I need to serve my higher purpose.
Uh,
And then I just trust with that, you know, and
yeah.
everyone's and feel out who's a lesson and who's a love, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I got one more question for you. Ready for this? Are you sitting down?
I'm actually sitting down. I wasn't going to exercise while I did this, to be honest. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do my ass exercises while I do this for an hour. Multitask.
Awesome. I do that. Sometimes I ride my bike. Okay. Last question. What is the foundation, in your estimation, of a healthy relationship?
Coming out of one that wasn't the biggest part of my relationship with my past relationship that wasn't healthy was being able to be honest with each other. Like you need to always be honest and not fear like someone's gonna hurt you. I think fear is something we need to lose as well, and
Yeah.
shaming. I think
Insecurities.
the ultimate relationship, we all want the same things. We all want someone that's attractive, makes us laugh, you know, like has good goals. I mean, we all want the same thing. I really just have learned to just I just go with my heart. Like when my heart just keeps thinking about somebody or wants to do something, then I listen to that. I don't
Okay.
listen to anybody anything else. If my heart wants it, there must be a reason. There's always a lesson.
Yeah, yeah. So if I hear you correctly, based on what you just said, and I'm trying to interpret it, I would say that maybe for someone, let's say your partner, and then you say to them, well, you know what, I'm kind of attracted to women, and then so I could see how a man might take that as being like in being insecure, like, wait a second, what's wrong with me? And they may take that personally. So that could.
Oh, well, a man usually actually thinks that he can't go down, that he can't lick pussy properly. Usually I find that when a woman's like, men will be like, oh my God, why do you need a woman? Like, because they think that that's the only thing that they would do better, right? It's like,
I've never heard that.
no, it is true. Like, and I know a lot of women that are like, they love their man, but they're like, they are not good at licking the yoni.
that
So
makes that makes no sense to me. How could a woman be better? Oh, I see. Maybe because she knows what she likes, and so then she could apply
we
it
know
forward.
our
Okay.
body parts like better than anyone else, and I think yeah. So that's what I've come across that a lot,
Wow.
actually. So I find that, yeah, the man gets insecure. That's the one thing that I've heard of that men get insecure with a woman, another woman.
Interesting, interesting. Kaya, I could talk to you all day, yo girl, but maybe we can do this again
Girl.
sometime.
Yes, yes, let's do.
I hope you don't mind.
Yeah.
I call it my harem of love goddesses I have out there now. You are the very first one from right here, beautiful British Columbia. So I'm very proud to have you on the show.
I'm honored to be here. It was super fun. I have practicing being on camera again. Honestly, it's been a whirlwind. This is something I want to get back into, and it's been years.
Okay.
So I'm honored to be on the show, and
You got that alfalfa look going. Great on. Okay.
no, I'm like, really, I'm accepting all different angles, all different parts.
Cool. All right. Okay, Kaya, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed it. I think we've had lots of comments. You might have broken the record here for how many comments I've had on a Facebook Live before. So congratulations.
I love to talk, love to share, sharing's caring. Some exciting things, but just being organic about who I am and where I'm at. Because yeah, I have been through big healing. So no, I just want everyone to love, just love and be in joy. That's all.
Wow, a true love goddess, Kaya Yes Girl, Kelowna, BC. Although you identify as being a big city girl from Vancouver, Kaya, thank you so much for being on. I really enjoyed.
Okay, you too.
Okay.
Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.